Alright, let's talk about example 3, which is asking us to find the measure of the third angle of a triangle if the first angle has a measure of 66 degrees and the second angle measures 37. To answer this question, we got to remember what our angle measures are, circle those angle measures, and we got to remember the most important part of these notes, excuse me, that the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a triangle has to be 180. This leads us to a very easy equation to write and solve. One angle plus the other angle plus our missing angle equals 180. Let's combine like terms. As you can see, I messed this one up. Apologies. Let's subtract 103 from both sides. And we've got our angle measure of 77. Now you could easily just do this math in your head, but writing an equation is always a good idea. Now example 4 is a little bit different. It just involves us doing a little more algebra. We're going to find the measure of each angle of this triangle. We still got to remember that all the angles add up to 180. So all this means is that I take one angle, 3x, plus the other angle, x, plus that third angle, x plus 40, and just make it equal 180. Let's combine like terms. 3x plus 1x plus 1x gives me 5x. Subtract 40 from both sides, as you guys know how to do. Divide by 5. And that allows us to find the value of x, which we can then plug in for all three. The easiest one is finding the value of angle S. It just says x equals 28, good to go. Let's now find the measure of angle R, 3 times x, or 3 times 28. Good to go. Calculate that out. Angle T, x plus 40. Plug it in. Just as easy. As long as you know that the angles of a triangle have to add up to 180, you'll be good to go. All you need to do is know what equation to write, and there'll be no wrong. Angle 5 should be self-explanatory, and if it's not, the description below will be able to help you get it. Now that equation should make sense considering the fact that it's an equal angular triangle, all angles being the same, and that if every angle of a triangle has to add up to 180, every single angle has to be 60 degrees. Remember that as you see this week's trivia question. Okay, here is your trivia question for today. Now, the first Super Bowl was played in January of 1967. My question to you is, who was the first MVP of that very first Super Bowl? Who was the MVP of Super Bowl I in 1967? Think on it. Alright, in example 6 we have to find the value of x. Again, all we need to remember is that all the angles of a triangle have to add up to 180. So all we need to do is take these three measures, add them to 180 in an equation, and solve. 3x plus 2 plus 2x plus 3 plus 90, that right angle right there, equals 180. Let's combine like terms. Combine like terms one more time. Cancel out that addition of 95. Divide by 5. And we've got our value of x. Take a real good look at the next part because we're going to explain a lot about the process of doing this question. Let's lay down some foundation about exterior angles though. An exterior angle of the triangle is formed by one side of the triangle and the extension of an adjacent side. Underline that phrase exterior angle. Very important as we go to example 7. Example 7 is very easy. We just got to think about linear pairs. Now we're trying to find example 1, but we got to realize that all we really need to know is the other angles of the triangle that we are given, 80 and 40. And we have to recognize that angle 2 has to be 60 degrees in order for that triangle to have interior angles equaling 180. So as long as we know that angle 2 equals 60 degrees, we can figure out that angle 1 and angle 2, because they're a linear pair, have to add up to 180. So we know, just based on very simple mathematics, that the measure of angle 1 has to be 120. We're almost there, guys. Example 8. We have a triangle. One measure is 63, one measure 53. We got to find the other measure. Let's go ahead and label the diagram. Angle X, 63. Angle X, Y, Z, 53. And we need to find the measure of angle Z, Y, R. Right there. All we have to know is that those two angles right there that I just arced are a linear pair. Go ahead and mark that on your notes as a linear pair. So all we really need to know is 53 plus what equals 180. Very simple equation. Subtract 53 from both sides. X has to equal 127 degrees. Easiest thing you're going to do in this entire set of notes. Last example, guys. We got triangle EFG right here. We have one measure, another measure. We need to find a third measure. Pay very careful attention to how we are doing this. Angle G we can very easily label as 100. Angle FEH though, we're going to be a little careful with. Now the question says it is 3 times the measure of angle F. Let's go ahead and label angle FEH as 3x, call that a linear pair, and call that other angle, angle F, x, which allows us to write the equation 3x plus x equals 180. Combine like terms, solve for x, and we've got a value of x that we can get. My advice to you guys is to watch example 9 2 or 3 times so you know step by step what the process was in getting that missing value. Example 9 is not an easy question. Make sure you know what's going on here. I'll give y'all some time on the video itself to actually label everything in the diagram and get it all worked out.